I'm a little late for coffee time, but I got one of these, so don't worry, it's not alcoholic, even though it shouldn't be. I'm sure all of you are aware of the insanity that's been coming out of our current administration. You don't need me telling you this. I'm sure all of you, well, maybe you don't recognize this face. This is Gilma Abrego Garcia, who was sent to an El Salvadorian prison, even though he had strict orders not to be deported to El Salvador. Now, a circuit court ordered that the current administration return him. However, the U.S. Supreme Court paused that order requiring the return of a deported man. I really hope this brings to light the fact that we are not giving these people due process. And that is the big thing here. Whether you believe that Garcia should or should not have been deported is beside the point. The fact that we were talking about whether he should or should not have been deported after he's already been deported, that's the issue. And I'm telling you, it's much bigger of an issue that you people are ignoring. The slippery slope is only a fallacy if people don't actually do the thing that makes a slippery slope a fallacy. The alarm bells should be sounding, folks. The alarm bells should be sounding. You should be paying attention to this. And I'm going to show you why. We're going to show you why right now. I'm sure you recognize this Cheeto guy. We've cleaned him up a little bit, give him a bit of a whatever because he,
El Salvador, the president there said he would be willing to take American citizens in the federal prison population. Is that one of the ideas you're going to be discussing?
Well, I love that. If we could take some of our 20-time wise guys that push people into subways and that hit people over the back of the head and that purposely run people over in cars, if he would take them, I'd be honored to give them. I don't know what the law says on that, but I can't imagine the law would say anything different. If they...
This is why what happened to Garcia and many others should scare the shit out of every single American citizen here. Because you have the President of the United States of America talking about deporting U.S. criminals to El Salvador. If that doesn't sound all of the alarm bells off, you're going to get mad at me for calling you a fascist. Stop doing fascist shit. We are denying people due process, and now we're talking about shipping. I don't understand. I don't understand. Where do we stop? Where do we put a stop to this? I'm going to need my Republican folks out there to stand up and tell your Congress people, your city, state, local, sheriffs, everything. You got to get out there and make your voices heard because this is not going to stop. Whether you think it's okay that they're shipping people out illegally or not, what's to stop them from coming for you? What's to stop them from saying, you know what, Bubba Joe, you're a meth dealer. We caught you dealing meth. And how did we catch you dealing meth? Well, you bought some Sudafed. You bought some ammonia. You bought some Sudafed. Those are two key ingredients in making methamphetamine. Now, because we have two ingredients, we can say that you're a meth dealer. You are a cooker of meth. That's all we need. And we're going to deport you to an El Salvadorian prison. Maybe that's a bit of a stretch. Okay, cool. If it's a bit of a stretch, awesome. Make sure you tell everybody that that is a bit of a stretch, that is not okay. That's not how it should happen. Not just me. Don't come in my comment section saying, well, no, this is just, you're being unfair and blah, 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 blah. We're talking about deporting criminals. Great. Are we though? Are we talking about deporting criminals? Are we talking about people giving people due process? And that's the issue. The fact that we are ignoring due process to quote, send criminals. Never mind the fact that being in this country is not a criminal offense. Undocumented in this country is not a criminal offense. It's a civil offense. That doesn't matter. When you get a ticket, right? Speeding ticket, that's not a criminal offense. Usually not your first one, right? Speeding ticket's not a criminal offense. It's a civil offense. What do? Do you just pay the ticket? No, you have due process. You don't just give them money. You actually have to enter in a plea, a no-low plea, guilty plea, not guilty plea, something, right? You're afforded due process. It's the same thing with people who are here, quote, illegally. They have due process. And there's a reason why we have due process is to make sure that we're not sending people who shouldn't be sent to El Salvador. Make sure that people whom other judges have said do not send to El Salvador get sent to El Salvador. What's stopping any one of them from sending you, me, or anybody else to El Salvador? Obviously, that's on his radar. We just heard an Orange Man himself say, well, if they'll take them, I don't think there's a law against it. Y'all gonna make me drink again. You know, when I woke up the other day and I thought to myself, geez, I really wish we could do something about those pesky people causing us a lot of issue. We are so upside down in our trade dealings with penguins.
You're imposing a 10% tariff on the herd in McDonald Islands. The herd in McDonald Islands have 0 human inhabitants. They have 0 exports. They have 0 imports. They do have a lot of penguins. Why are you putting import tariffs on islands that are entirely populated by penguins?
Well, I mean, come on, Jake. Obviously, here's the bottom line. We live under a tariff regime from other countries. We have too long
the McDonald Islands is not imposing
the idea that America goes first. I mean, come on. Whatever. Listen, the people that are leading this are serious, intentional, patriotic, the smartest people I've ever worked with.
You're imposing.
If those people are the smartest people you've ever worked with, then maybe it's time you up the bar on what you consider smart people. Maybe you should work with smarter people. Seriously, why are we imposing tariffs on penguins in the McDonald Islands? It's just so dumb. You know what country was removed or left out of those tariffs? Those sweeping tariffs across the nation. We're imposing tariffs on everybody because we're the smartest country and we're the most patriotic. I'll give you a second to look it up, but Russia was not on that list of tariffed countries. That's interesting. That's an interesting country to leave out, Russia. Wonder why we would do that. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. Why do you think we're tariffing the penguins? Because, you know, they've got thousands and thousands of imports, like penguin shit. Cheers to being American, I guess. Those pesky penguins. Remember how we talked about the DOJ and not abusing the powers of the DOJ?
On Friday night around 9:15, I learned that the Deputy Attorney General's office had directed the Department's Security and Emergency Planning Service to send 2 armed Special Deputy U.S. Marshals to my home to serve me with a letter. The letter was to be served at my home between 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock on Friday night. I was in the car with my husband and my parents when I got the news that the officers were on their way to my house where my teenage child was home alone. Fortunately, due to the grace of a very decent person who understood how upsetting this would be to my family, I was able to confirm receipt of the letter to an email address, and the deputies were called off. The letter had been emailed to me just before 8 o'clock that night. The letter was a warning to me about the risks of testifying here today, but I am here because I will not be bullied into concealing the ongoing corruption and abuse of power at the Department of Justice.
We're sending the DOJ to tell people not to testify against the DOJ. Is that not witness tampering and intimidation? Mind you, this woman was fired because she refused to give Mel Gibson his guns back. Those are her words. If that's the case, then this is just getting. When are we winning again? When are we getting? You know, I mean, here I am paying $9 for a dozen eggs or 18 eggs or something, whatever the insane fucking egg prices are right now. Here we are paying a ridiculous amount of money for eggs. Here a ridiculous amount of the gas prices are going up. Stock market is crashing, crumbling under this new administration's insanity of tariffs. We're tariffing all the penguins and we're tariffing everybody except Russia. And we're just gonna, I just don't understand what are we doing? What are we doing? I don't recall anybody. I just don't. This is so insane to me. I don't understand how we've gotten to this point. Yes, I do, because people are stupid. Because all of you idiots, when he's sitting there talking about, I'm talking about Trump, but Trump is campaigning, talking about, we're going to lower gas prices and we're going to do this, we're going to do that. We're like, no, none of this is going to happen. You can't sit there and tell me you didn't know. When you have people on the left talking about, no, his economic policy is not going to work. It's going to cause a recession by summer. And here we are, rapidly headed towards that recession. Some say we're already in it, well before summertime. So yeah, record time to get us into a recession. Great economic plan there. Dumpy Trump, just great plan there. Understand that the only way we change this is in the ballot box. Okay, we got to get out there and vote. That's all there is to it. Remember the guy who talks like this and said, "Don't get your children vaccinated because." The most effective way to prevent the spread of measles is the MMR vaccine. Do you think that the most effective way to stop the spread of deadly viruses is through vaccination, which helps boost herd immunity? I just don't understand what's going on with you folks. Stop listening to people who don't know what the they're talking about. Don't listen to me. Look all this shit up for yourself, okay? None of the things that I'm showing to you right now are things that you're not going to be able to find out on your own. But stop listening to all these people that, RFK Jr. is going to tell you that, vaccines are bad. They're not. Okay? They're just not. We're going to listen to RFK Jr. and not doctors. This is coming across a lot more angry and whatnot than I really wanted to come across. But the level of insanity that's coming out of this administration right now. Actually, I think that's an insult to insane people, because even insane people are like, this is crazy. This is crazy. Oh yeah, don't forget, you can, if you want to buy coffee, you don't have to. Imagine you can't afford it now with the economy, but cheers.